Hello everyone, good morning. And as I said, we have already finished this cracking NTA UGC Net English 2023 Shift 1. We have completed our 100 questions and there we have learned so many things about it. And today, what we are going to do is to revise once again everything whatever we have studied, but not like in details, but in just uh, in short. So like there will be question, we will find the answer, and also some in the explanation we will just point out the important uh, points in the question in our explanation. So I hope everybody is ready. And actually I'm not taking my presentation, I'm just doing it with my book. So in that way we can just cover so many things, otherwise it's gonna be very long, because presentation has so many slides, and if we do that, it'll take like 3 4 5 hours to finish that. But anyway, in this this is actually my book. I just would like to show you. uh, this is the cover page, um, first page of it. Cover page is not here anyway. So this is our fourth volume, remember it's fourth volume, and in fourth volume we have discussed 2023 both shift questions, and also we have discussed the explanation for each options and every question. So why wait, let's start. So some forward is there, we can move. Shift 1, question number 1 is in your screen again. We'll just solve quickly everything because we have already studied. This is only revision question, and we'll try to finish 100 question today itself. So question number 1 says, when nature prompted and no law denied promiscuous use of concubine and bride, then Israel monarch. So this quote is taken from where? So there is poem, and the answer was Absalom and Achitophel, a novel. A poem. So these lines are from Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel, and it is about King David, a biblical figure who was known for his many wives and concubines. And the line suggests God described David as a man after his own heart. Anyway, other explanation is there. MacFlecknoe, a song of St. Cecilia's days, and Alexander Feast, all are poem by Dryden. And so these are something about that. For that, if you want to know about these explanation, you can just watch previous classes. Today we are only going to revise in the sense we will only look at the questions and the answer. Explanation is that these kind of explanation you'll find in the book itself, and if you're not interested in classes and all, you can always get your book. And in the book you will have so many things, over 2000 plus question explained along with their options, and also extra perk is there that's going to help you in the next exam. So as I said, we are only going to discuss the questions and the answers, that's all. So question number 2 says, which of the following poems is written by Goldsmith? So every options are a little bit closer, but the answer goes to the deserted village. Again, we have the explanation that we have already discussed, and you can find it in the book and also previous classes, that if you want to know more about it. Anyway, remember in the deserted village, what is important? It was published in 1970. And also it is in the village of Auburn. Remember, the Tribute to Papa is a book of poems written by who is it? Answer is Mamta Kalia, and it is Mamta Kalia, as we know, is a prominent Hindi writer who won Padma Shri in 2019. Question number 4 says, which of the following poems is not written by Sylvia Plath? So there was confusion in the question, and it seems all of the uh, poems are written by Sylvia Plath, and for that we have explanation as well. So we just marked it as dropped, and all 4 poems are here by written by Sylvia Plath. And little bit introduction about Lady Lazarus, who was brought back to life by Jesus. It's a biblical figure where Sylvia Plath talks about the death and rebirth. Again, another Ariel. Ariel is also a character taken from The Tempest. And Daddy is, of course, is a poem by confessional poem by Sylvia Plath, and it shows the complicated relationship between father and daughter. And to Ariel, again, it is who is addressing Ariel, the spirit of Shakespeare, The Tempest. Question number 5. Robert Burns was born in Scotland. As we know, Robert Burns is very important figure in Scotland because he was the national poet. Tell me, who is Ireland's national poet? And it is W.B. Yeats. So here, some of the important work of Robert Burns are Auld Lang Syne and Sign and Tom O'Shanter, To a Mouse, To a Louse, A Red Red Rose. So these are very important poems that you should remember. Anyway, now we have also we have asked the national poet of Ireland is W.B. Yeats. And Yeats, we know, is important. He wrote important poems like The Lake, Isle of Ennisferry, The Second Coming, Easter, 1916, Sailing to Byzantium, and The Tower. Again, who among the following, it asks, who among the following characters personifies necessity in P.B. Shelley's Prometheus Unbound? So it was Demogorgon that we found the answer, and he's very important figure because he's a kind of a mysterious figure and powerful being who represent the forces of fate and destiny. So again, in extra park we have talked about what is Prometheus Unbound. As we know, it was published in 1820 and it has it is 4-act play, and we have character like Zeus and Prometheus who stole the fire from Zeus and gave it to the human. So that is all about. And this Demogorgon is an important figure because he helps to intervene the mysterious figure of Demogorgon. Anyway, question number 7 is here. Who among the following, after watching the performance of William Shakespeare's play A Midsummer Night's Dream, observed that it is the most insipid and ridiculous play that I have ever saw? So it was mentioned in his diary, and it was Samuel Pepys who said this about A Midsummer Night's Dream. As we know, Pepys' diary covers from 1662 to 1663. This play was performed in 1662 September, where he saw Lincoln's Inn Field, and London's Lincoln's Inn Field, and he made this statement. And in extra perk, we have all other diaries that we have mentioned. John Evelyn is there, and until his death. So he has kept from diary 1640 to until his death. Ralph Jesse, in other words, but he was clergyman. John Aubrey, he was English antiquity, and Thomas Turner, who was shopkeeper who kept a diary. So anyway, question number 8 is in your screen. Name the playwright who wrote the play Epicene or The Silent Woman. And the answer we have discussed before. It was Ben Jonson. And here there is explanation for it, that as we have already discussed in previous class. Only we are going to discuss the important point. The play Epicene means the silent moment, written by Ben Jonson, and it was first performed in 1609. And character we have Moroso, Dauphin, and Epicene, and some major character Truewit, Dauphin, and other character. Anyway, list of works, it is there. Ben Jonson written very important works like Every Man and His Humor, Volpone, The Alchemist, Bartholomew Fair, Epicene, Congreve. He wrote The Old Bachelor, Double Dealer, Love for Love, The Way of the World. Thomas Kidd, where he is written. Thomas Kidd written The Spanish Tragedy, The Householder's Philosophy, and Jerimo. So we have the last one, George Farquhar, who wrote Love and a Battle, 1698, very important. The Constant, couple of Jubilee, Sir Harry Wedler. So these were important. Question number 9, Abhigyan Sakuntalam makes use of the 4 languages. Tell me which one of the language he has. It was mentioned here. So Sanskrit, Saurasani, Maharashtri, and Magadhi. So these are the important language that it has mentioned. So here is the small explanation. It is all about the language, nothing more. Choose the following option, the correct combination of playwrights who contribute at the moment called kitchen sink drama. So in that you have to find the correct answer. So answer is John Osborne, Arnold Wesker, Sally Delaney, and John Arden. Remember, we have to complete all the 100 questions in this session, because we have already discussed before complete explanation and we have already solved this. This is only class for revision. That's why I'm keep saying I don't expect that there'll be too much explanation, or we'll just will be quick in each question. So remember, so we have to find kitchen sink drama. It was John Osborne, who was also related to Angry Young Man. Arnold Wesker, of course, he's so Sally Delaney and John Arden. The kitchen sink drama emerged in 1950s to 60s, and it is about social issues, working class life, and domestic realism. John Osborne, his play Look Back in Anger. Sally Delaney, A Taste of Honey. Arnold Wesker, Chicken Soup with Bale. Ellen Slattery, and The Loneliness and the Long Distance Runner. John Arden, he wrote Surgeon Musgrave Dance and Live Like Pigs. Is there any other play? Okay. So another playwright is there, Neldon, who is also related to kitchen sink drama and wrote Steaming Deal. Extra Park is there, The Angry Young Man. Associated authors are John Osborne, playwright are John Osborne, Sally Delaney, and Harold Pinter. Theatre of Absurd, important playwrights include Samuel Beckett, Eugene Ionesco, and Harold Pinter. Again, the Royal Court Theatre is also related to Angry Young Man and John Osborne. This play was performed, produced at the Royal Court, such as John Osborne, Look Back in Anger. The Theatre of Workshop, another important theatre. So here you have to choose the correct combination of the play of the expressionist technique, and we have the answer: The Hairy Ape, The Emperor Jones, Rapid Transit, and The Adding Machine. And also we have little bit description about it. So all these plays employ expressionist technique to varying degree, so such as distorted imagery, non-realistic settings, and stylized movement. So The Hairy Ape, we know it is about a protagonist named Yank, who was a coal stoker. The Emperor Jones, he talks about Brutus Jones, who was an African American pullman. And again, Rapid Transit is by Edward Mapley, published in 1927, is an one-act play, and the play takes place in New York City subway train. The Adding Machine is by Elmer Rice, published in 1923, and it is it tells the story of Mr. Zero. Again, another, apart from Bertolt Brecht, of others who have influenced epic theatre are Tell me, who are other associated with epic theater other than Bertolt Brecht? So, answer was Irvin Piscator and Max Reinhardt. So, here explanation is there. So, these two were prominent theater practitioners who contributed to the development of epic theater. So, both are German, and they have introduced that multimedia things in the theater, like film projection, sound effect, and live music. It's getting slow a little bit. Question number 13. This is getting slow. Okay, I'm gonna open this in different software. It is just a little bit. Not this one. Okay, so here it's quite. Now we are okay, because in the other software it was not working well, so that's why we moved here to the different. We have opened this in our Chrome. So anyway, we were somewhere near question number 13, and the question number 13 was about some theater, right? So here in the question number 13 says the theological treatise Ecclesiastical Polity was written by who? And the answer says it is Richard Hooker. And it is about the book which defended the Church of England against the Puritans. And we have extra perk about the other authors. Hakluyt is also known for his work, The Principle of Navigation Voyages, Traffics and Discoveries of the English Nation. Bacon, we know he is known for his essays, and also along with Novum Organum, which introduced the concept of scientific method. Holinshed, we know for him Chronicle of England, Scotland, and Ireland. Question number 14 says who wrote the popular instruction manual for fishermen titled The Complete Angler or The Contemplative Man's Recreation? So answer is Isaac Walton, and it was published in 1653. And extra perk is there. We have all talked about. These are all authors from the 17th century. Jeremy Taylor, known for his famous book Holly Living and Holly Dying. Richard Baxter was a Puritan who wrote the book The Reformed Pastor. Thomas Hobbes, we know, is important. He has written important work Leviathan in to defend monarchy. So he actually argues the necessity of strong central government to prevent the chaos and violence of the state of nature. Question number 15. What did Matthew Arnold imply by the term Hebraism? And it was about moral education, and that was our answer. And here why we have also explained, like close explanation is there. Hebraism for Arnold was not a system moral education that emphasized the importance of personal responsibility, duty, and self-discipline, and stood in contrast to Hellenism. All of these we have discussed in our previous class. Shall we just do today only two questions just for revision? Otherwise, we won't be able to finish on time. Anyway, the journal Scrutiny was founded by who? F.R. Lewis, right? That is, and here is the date, and it is also together they found, F.R. Lewis and his wife, they together found the journal Scrutiny in 1972. So here are the other magazines which are in chronological order: the Gentleman magazine, the Edinburgh Quarterly, Westminster, Blackwood, Atlantic, and the New York. Question number 17. Samuel Pepys actually claims to fame rest on his, of course everybody knows, it's diary. And again we'll just see which date he covered. He covered between 1660 to 1669, and he covered so many events like Great Plague, the Great Fire of London, and the restoration of the monarchy as well. Dr. Primrose is famous character in where? And it is in The Vicar of the Wakefield by Oliver Goldsmith, and he was a very kind hearted, gentle vicar who lives with his family in English countryside. And we know in Nicholas Nickleby, protagonist was Nicholas Nickleby himself. Adam Bede was also a major character in the same. He was the title figure. So anyway, the protagonist Joseph Andrews is Joseph, and I have mentioned some of the other names. Jane Eyre, who were the famous protagonists in the Victorian era. So Jane Eyre, we know. Pip, Dorothy Brooke, we know it's Middlemarch. Again, David Copperfield, Catherine Earnshaw from Wuthering Heights, Oliver Twist, Bathsheba Everdom from Everdeen, from Far from the Madding Crowd, Phineas Finn from Phineas Finn, Tess, Dr. John Watson from Sherlock Holmes. Question number 90. So here is the quote talking about a baby who was smaller than a box, which was carried in a small box and under an inch in woman's hall. So this quote was from Tess by D'Urberville's, and here is the explanation for it. And other works, some of the important extra park we have explained the other so all of these play has some kind of child character in the beginning, but this like a baby child was there in Hardy, so whose Tess recently in the play she delivered a child, and the child dies immediately after the birth, and his name was Sorrow. In Wuthering Heights, another sickly child, his name was Linton Heathcliff. In Tess, there was Tess' son, whose name was Sorrow. In Great Expectation, the protagonist Pip is a child at the beginning of the novel, and also in the Mill on the Floss, Maggie Tulliver was the child character who in the beginning of the novel runs away with gypsies, and eventually she was found. Anyway, other we have important quotes. This is all you can get in the book, and also we have discussed this in our previous classes. Question number 20. Which of the following novels are written by Patrick White? So we know it's a vivisector. And we have the list of the work here. Happy Valley, The Living and the Dead. So Happy Valley is one of the first work that he has written. It was published in 1939. The Aunt Story, The Tree of Man, Was, Riders of the Chariot, The Solid Mandela, The Vivisector, The Eye of the Storm, The Fringe of Leaves, The Twyborn Affairs. Extra perk: The Cry, The Beloved Country, we know, is by Ellen Patel. The Vivisector is by Patrick White. The Handsome Tale by Margaret Atwood. The Stone Angel, about Hagar Shipley, was the main character, and it is written by Margaret Lawrence, published in 1964. So again, one question is there. Which of the following is not written by Kamala Markande? If you know the answer, you can just write. Otherwise, answer is there. A Time to Be Happy, and this is written by Kamala Markande. And here is the explanation for it. And we have other work that it was in the option. Some in a Fury, The No Verman. These are all written by Kamala Markande. The Golden Honeycomb. And question number 22 says, who among the following were revaluing the masses, a source and subject of it? So again, it is talking about the cultural studies, and when the mass comes, like the popular culture, it is about Richard Hoggart and Raymond Williams. Which among the following were, sorry, this one already we have done. So Richard Hoggart and the Raymond Will, they are known for the cultural studies, and they all talk about the masses, the culture, the popular culture, and other things. Anyway, extra perk is there. We have Penny Summerfield and Gilliman Rose. Okay, we are. So, who among the following theorists has written on narrative empathy? So the answer is Suzanne Keene. These are all we have discussed before. Extra perk: if you want, you can have the book. Otherwise, we have explained in previous class. So question number 24, the science that systematically studies the function of sign is known as what? It is semiology or semiotic. So again, when the science that systematically studies the function of sign is known as semiotics or semiology. Extra perk, it is all about, we have discussed the other options. Semantic is a science of language that with the meaning of words and phrases. Who among the following first framed a theory of general hermeneutic? Is it Wilhelm Dilthey, Ferdinand de Saussure, Friedrich Schleiermacher, or E.D. Hirsch? So answer was Friedrich Schleiermacher. And he has introduced this in his book Hermeneutics and Criticism, which was published in 1838. Again, another we have a little bit short paragraph for each other options that we have discussed before. Anyway, Roland Barthes just my mic is not. Roland Barthes, Image, Music and Text was published in when? 1977. And in that work he has introduced read early and write early, and it is actually collection of essays, and some of the important essays in the collection was The Death of the Author, where he discussed about read early and write early. Another important essay was The Rhetoric of the Image. And some of the other work is written by Roland Barthes are Writing Degree Zero, Mythology, Element of Semiology, SNZ, The Pleasure of the Text, and the A Lover's Discourse. So this is all these all work are written by Roland Barthes. And some of the important works that I told you is the first five till here. So now question number 27. Who among the following distinguished the constatives from the performative? So there was performative. So when performatives comes, you should remember it is about John Austin, and we have the explanation for it. This term, J.L. Austin distinguished the constatives from the performant in his work How to Do Things with Words. We have explanation and other, as we know, these are all from the theory, literary theory and criticism, Judith Butler, Stanley Fish, and Mary Louise Broad. John Austin, we know he is famous for development of his speech act theory. Judith Butler, we know, is important figure in feminism, and her work associated with the gender performativity. So we have Stanley Fish, we know is important figure in reader response theory, deconstruction, and role of interpretation in law. Mary Louise Pratt is a scholar post-colonial and transnational literature and theory. Question number 28. Who among the following coined the phrase soft capitalism? Soft capitalism is your work of intellectual, like we have all the multimedia things and like knowing capital. So Nigel Thrift introduced this soft capitalism in his book Knowing Capitalism, and according to her, it is the use of intangible assets such as information, expertise, importance of effective and emotional labor in the production and consumption of goods and services. So these are soft capitalism. The others we have mentioned, Louis Althusser, we know is important. He has introduced the term ideological state apparatus. Slavoj Zizek is a Slovenian philosopher whose important his work falls on politics and psychological and popular psychoanalysis and popular culture. Nigel Thrift, British geographer who's who is associated with non-representational theory. Terry Clayton, we know he wrote a book Literary Theory and Introduction. So anyway, question number 29. To whom is the term thick description? So thick description is by Clifford Creed, and thick description means it was actually, this concept was introduced in the work The Interpretation of Culture in 1973. And this thick description means cultural practices by paying attention to the details of what people say, do, and think by interpreting those details within their cultural context. So extra perk. So all these authors we have mentioned a little bit, one paragraph for each. So John Stowe, who's famous for cultural theory and popular culture. Clifford Creed, that we know, thick description. Deleuze and Guattari, we know about Anti-Oedipus and 1,000 Platus. James Clifford, who's important figure and anthropologist, and his books include The Predicament of Culture and Routes. Question number 30. The subject matter of cultural studies as it emerged as a proto discipline in the 1960s was predominantly an exploration of popular culture. It's streaming, but so I'm actually the power just uh, came back now, and sorry for the disturbance. Just waiting to. Right now, I'm connected with my phone and I'm waiting for Wi Fi to be connected now. Just give me like 3 to 4 minutes and my connection will be ready. Okay, so the question number 30 is the subject matter of cultural studies at it emerged as a proto discipline in the 1960s was predominantly an explanation of what it was popular culture and why. For that, we have here explanation. Popular culture's role in shaping social norms and values. Scholars in cultural studies sought to understand how popular culture, including television, music, film, advertising. Again, we are talking about popular culture, and you should remember high culture is related to elite society, and talking about upper class like opera, ballet, literature, and classical music. Popular culture is the culture about masses such as television, film, music, and social media. Subaltern is the marginalized or oppressed groups such as women, racial, and ethnic minority. And contemporary politics is about the ways in which culture intersect with political and social issues in the present day. Question number 31. What does the abbreviated term CCCS is stand for in the context of cultural study? So here we have to find the full form of it, and it is Center for Contemporary Culture Studies. So I'm going to reconnect this. So as we know, CCCS is a research center established in 1964 at the University of Birmingham, England. And who are important figure in the CCS are Stuart Hall, Richard Hoggart, Raymond Williams, Paul Willis, Angela McRobbie, and these are very important and very significant. They have played significant contribution to the development of culture studies. And question number 32, according to Stuart Hall, the concept of which played a seminal role in cultural studies. And just give me the answer if you are there in the comment box, and I'll give you 2 minutes break. Okay, so according to Stuart Hall, the concept of actually its hegemony played a seminal role in cultural studies. And why? We have explanation. According to Stuart Hall, the concept of hegemony played a seminal role in cultural studies because hegemony built on the ideas of the Italian Marxist thinker Antonio Gramsci, and Gramsci called this form of power hegemony, and he argued that it was maintained through the dominant groups of control of culture, cultural institutions, and the production of cultural narratives that reinforce their position of power. We have explained the other terms which was mentioned. Interpolation is by Althusser, dispositive is by Foucault, and hegemony concept is by Antonio Gramsci, and further developed by theorists like Stuart Hall. Question number 33, the book Political Shakespeare Essays in Cultural Materialism was by jointly edited by which? Answer is Alan Sinfield and Jonathan Delimore. And see, these all are some names are together, and they are all important figure in cultural studies. So, and their name comes together always. So, Political Shakespeare by Jonathan Delimore and Alan Sinfield. Again, Giles Deleuze and Felix Guattari comes because of the Anti-Oedipus, 1000 Plateus. Alan Sinfield and Jonathan Delimore, the name comes because of the Political Shakespeare Essays in Cultural Material. Bill Ashcroft and Alan Tiffin, their name comes because of the work The Empire Writes Back. And Theodore Adorno and Max Horkheimer, their name comes together because of Dialectic of Enlightenment, where he talked about power and popular culture and other things. Question number 34, identify the work which has not been authored by the famous cultural critic Raymond Williams. And Raymond Williams, we know Culture and Society is written by Matthew Arnold, right? Sorry, Culture and Anarchy is written by Matthew Arnold, and Culture and Society is written by Raymond Williams. And The Making of the English Working Class is a work by E.P. Thompson, and The Country of the City is by Raymond Williams. The Culture and Society by Raymond Williams. Modern Tragedy is by Raymond Williams. Second language is any language other than the learner's native language or mother language. We have little bit explanation for it. And question number 36, when a learner's second language learning system seems to freeze or get stuck at some more or less deviant stage, that phenomenon is called what? It is called fossilization. And fossilization means freeze or get stuck at some more or less deviant stage. So this is called fossilization. So again, integrative motivation refers to what? And the answer is language learning for personal growth and cultural enrichment. When somebody learns motivation that stems from an individual desire to learn a language in order to integrate into new culture and community, or for personal growth and cultural enrichment. Question number 38, in 1835, which of the following language was replaced by English as the official language of the East Indian Company? So it was actually Persian which was replaced by English. And choose the correct option from the following options. So we have to find which one is the correct option, and the correct option is the Magna Carta of Indian education in the political period was the Wood's Education Dispatch, where they have introduced English language, and it was the dispatch which was drafted by Sir George Wood, the president of the Board of Control for India, and called for the establishment of comprehensive system of education that would provide Indian with the skills and knowledge needed to participate fully in the economic, social and political life of the British Empire. Question number 40, which of the following plays of William Shakespeare was translated into Bengali and directed by Girish Chandra? So it was Macbeth which was performed. And Girish Chandra Ghosh was also called the father of Bengali theatre, and he wrote over 40 plays, and he translated Shakespeare's Macbeth play into Bangla. Which of the following works of Browning are pure dramas? So pure dramas, in the answer says A and C. So it is a Strafford and a blot in the Scotian. So these two are referred as the pure drama. Who among the following poets have lived in Australia? And we know Judith Wright is from Australia, and Kath Walker seems also from Australia. So in the option it says A, B and C. So these three, A, B and C, all first three are they have lived in Australia, and they are from Australia. So question number, in an essay on criticism, Pope actually, what does he do? He analyzed the causes of faulty criticism and characterized the good critic. And he also the causes of faulty criticism and characteristics of the good critic. He also said a good critic such as good taste, knowledge of the subject, and a sense of balance and proportion. So which of the following are plays written by Harold Pinter? We have to find which one are written by Harold Pinter. So Family Voices, The Room, and No Man's Land are by Harold Pinter. The other, Crab's Last Tape, is by Samuel Beckett. A Moon of Misbegotten is by A Moon for the Misbegotten is by Eugene O'Neill. Which of the following have not been written by Mahesh Dattani? So the answer is B and D. Fire and the Rain is by Girish Karnad, and D, A Touch of Brightness is by Tennessee Williams. And the rest of the work is by Mahesh Dattani. Dance Like a Man, On a Muggy Night in Mumbai, Bravely Fought the Queen. These all three plays are written by Mahesh Dattani. So question number 46, name the drama which fall within the category of the treatise of the absurd. So absurd play we have to find. Of course, it could be the rhinoceros and the end game and the birthday party. Could be. So A, B, and D is the answer. A, B, and D is the answer, as I told you. And we have the extra play, why they are associated with the absurd play. So anyway, question number 47. Which of the playwright have been correctly matched with their works? William Shelley, The Rivals, Ben Jonson, Walpole. We have to find the correct. Of course, Ben Jonson, this one is the right one. And of course, Afraban, The Dutch Lover. We have the answer. B, D, and E is the correct one. E also, Richard Sheridan wrote A School for Scandal. So we have explanation for each that we have discussed in our previous classes. Question number 48. Choose the plays written by Lord Byron. Lord Byron wrote, he was not only the poet but also playwright, and he has written a couple of famous plays, in which are Cain and the Two Viscosi, an historical tragedy, and Sardana Palace. Also, these plays are written by, and the other Hylas and the Cenci by P.B. Shelley. Question number 49. John Bunyan authored the following. So John Bunyan wrote The Pilgrim's Progress, yes, and The Holy War, yes, and The Grace Abounding. So A, B, and D is written by. The other is other works, Thoughts on Education by John Locke, and Short View is also by John Locke. Question number 50. Which of the works have been authored by Thomas de Quincey? We know one is Confessions of an English Opium Eater, The French Revolution, Hudibras. Tell me which one is written by Thomas. We know the French Revolution is by Thomas Carlyle, Hudibras is by Samuel Butler, Autobiography is by Thomas de Quincey, and Suspiria de Profundis is not by. It could be. So we have the answer. A, D, and E is the correct. A, Confession of the Idiot, and D, Autobiography, and the Suspiria. These three works are written by Thomas de Quincey. Question number, here is the explanation and extra part for each that we have discussed before. Question number 51. Which of the following works have been written by Thomas Carlyle? Thomas Carlyle, we know again another question is asked related to Thomas Carlyle. Of Heroes and Hero Worship is by, it's actually a lecture and collected in a work called The Heroes and Hero Worship by Thomas Carlyle. Then The French Revolution is also by Thomas Carlyle. Of Human Bondage, it is not by Thomas Carlyle. Hudibras again is by Samuel Butler. The Hour and the Man, so it says only two works are written, and we have already found the answer A and B. So here is the explanation. So Of Human Bondage is by Somerset Maugham, and The Hour and the Man is by Harriet Martineau, and Hudibras, okay, of course, is by Samuel Butler. So question number 52. Which of the following books are written by Julia Kristeva? So Julia Kristeva, we know, is a French critic, and we have to find the work. A and D is written by Julia Kristeva. D, La Révolution du Langage Poétique, and A, Design in Language, a semiotic approach to literature. So Julia Kristeva is also known for a couple of terms like Cora and other. We have Park. The other works are written by The Mad Woman in the Attic, we know, is by Sandra Gilbert and Susan Gouard, and Syntax and Semantic is by Noam Chomsky. Illumination is by Walter Benjamin. To which of the following theories New Historicism is indebted? So New Historicism is first based on Marxism, and the second is by reader response theory. So we have indebted to aspects of these two. And Marxism, we have important theorists like Frederick Johnson, Terry Galton, Raymond Williams. In formalism, we have important figure like Victor Shklovsky, Roman Jacobson, Boris Eichenbaum. Reader response theory, the reader's role in interpreting a text. In reader response, we have Stanley Fish, Wolfgang Iser, and Louis Rosenbell. Existentialism, we have two important figures, John Paul Sartre and Martin Heidegger, and of course Albert Camus. Hermeneutic, Hans Georg Gadamer, Paul Ricoeur, and Walter Benjamin. Question number 54. Which of the following statements are true about cyberpunk? So as we know, cyberpunk is science fiction, and it is also talk about post-humanist technique, and along with that it most of the settings are in virtual reality. So that is our answer. Again, question number 55. Identify the correct pairs. We have to find the correct pairs. We know Salman Rushdie wrote The Enchanter of Florence. A.S. Bad wrote Possession. So these two plays should be there in the option. C and E is only in one option, and that is this. So C, D, and E. So D is also El Doctor of Ragtime. And The Feast of the Goat is by George Louis Borges, and The Autumn of the Patriarch is by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So we have the option. Again, which of the following books are written by Aravind Adiga? Aravind Adiga, we know The White Tiger as one of the play, and E is only in one option, which we can just opt B, D, and E is the as correct option. So B, Between the Assassination, is by Aravind Adiga, and also BD, Last Man in Tower, and The White Tiger. These are the plays written by Aravind Adiga. Question number 57. Which among the following are correct? So we know J.M. Coetzee is from South Africa, Margarita Atwood is from Canada, Orhan Pamuk is from Turkey. We know these three is correct. So A, B, and D is correct. A, B, and D. The other, because Graham Swift is from America, I think. We'll just see. Philip Roth is from America, and the last one, Graham Swift, was actually British, not American. We have the answer here. And question number 58. Which among the following is correct in the context of R.K. Narayan? So here's the guide is an open-ended, of course, and it is also close-ended, and most of the character of his novel, from Eli Snow, from lower class, he wrote a short story called The Martyr's Corner, and he received the Booker Prize. He didn't receive the Booker Prize, but his book was named for nominated for Booker Prize. So Malgudi is a real life city? No, it is the fictional city, and the answer is A and C is only correct. His the guide is an open-ended. C and all C1. He wrote the short story titled The Martyr Corner. Explanations, we have all this. Identify the correct way. We have to find the important work, these critical work, and the associated author. So in the answer, J.C. Ransom wrote Criticism and Inquiry. So A, B, and C, all these first three works are correctly paired. So J.C. Ransom wrote Criticism Incorporate, William Emerson wrote Seven Types of Ambiguity, and C. Brooks and R.P. Warren wrote Understanding Poetry. And the other two works, In Search of the New Criticism, C. Brooke and P. Understanding Poetry. So anyway, we have extra perk. R.P. Blackmore wrote The Double Agent, The Lion and the Honeycomb. Alan Tate wrote The Man of the Letters of the Modern World, Essay of 4 Decades. Question number 60. Thomas Rhymer coined the term poetic justice to imply what? So its answer is A and B. To employ the distribution of earthly rewards, punishment in proportion to the virtue and vice of the various characters, and literary work governed by decorum and morality. So we have the extra perk, the extra explanation. Question number 61. Which among the following are written by Roland Barthes? So Roland Barthes wrote what? He wrote the death of the order, but not the what is the order. So wherever is E, we just can eliminate. So E is not, we are left with allergy in method, the pleasure of the text. Of course, it is written by Roland Barthes. So C, where is the C option? All these three. So we have C, now B, mythology. So the answer says B and C. So allegory of reading, it is by Paul de Man. Mythology by Roland Barthes. The pleasure of the text by Roland Barthes. Some version of pastoral by William Ampson. What is author by Michel Foucault. The death of the author is by Roland Barthes. Question number 62. Which of the following are correctly matched? We have to find which one is the correct one. And answer number Culture and Society is not written by, but it is written by Raymond Williams. The second, the literary theory, a very short introduction, it is by Jonathan Quiller. And so both of these are not correctly matched. So Terry Eagleton wrote criticism and ideology. Yes, it is written, so we can just mark this one. And Walter Benjamin wrote Illumination. Yes, Stanley Fish, he didn't write The Implied Reader, but it was Wolfgang Iser who wrote The Implied Reader. So this is our now we have moved to the question number 63, which says which among the followings are true in the context of methods and mythology in literary research. So after question number 70, we'll take a small break and I'll tell you some stories, funny stories about some jokes in literature. So anyway, let's finish 7 more right now. Which among the followings are true in the context of methodology in the literary research? And B and D, methods are concerned with how one conduct a given piece of research. That is true. And D, methodology are concerned with the perspective one brings to bear on one's work. And why? We have extra part of the explanation. So question number, remember these all we have discussed in our previous classes. Now question number 64. In this class we are only revising what we have studied. So according to the English Subject Center report, skills needed for postgraduate work in English include what? A, B and D. Searching skills in libraries, editorial skills, and D, peer management skills. 65. Which of the following are possible ways of turning a topic into an argument? So how can we turn a topic into argument? Is by an argument for or against the existing critic or critical position in relation to the author or a group of works one is studying. And B, an argument about the value of new theoretical approach to a text or a set of text. An argument about some historical or literary historical aspects of literature. So because of that, we can just do what? We can turn a topic into an argument. We have question number 66. Now we have to match the following. We know Sri Aurobindo wrote what? Savitri. Kamala Das wrote other poems. P. Lal wrote a long poem, and at the end Toru Dutt wrote a sheep glen in French. So here we have options. Sri Aurobindo wrote Savitri, Kamala Das other poems, C.P. Lal Calcutta a long poem, Toru Dutt a sheep glen in French. Again we have the following, match the following, and Beat 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 is by Walt Whitman, published in Drum Taps. Australia is by A.D. Hope, and A Far Cry from Africa is Derek Walcott, who is a Caribbean poet and won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1992. The Howl is a poem by Allen Ginsberg, and it is the great example of beat generation and writers. And again, we have to match the following. Question number 68. Here are the quote: "Come what come may, corn what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day." It is a quote from Macbeth by William Shakespeare, and it is spoken by Macbeth's right hand Angus. "Be when sorrow comes, they come not in single spies, but in battalion." This quote is in Hamlet by Shakespeare, and it is spoken by King Claudius. "And I'm a man more sinned against the sinning." This quote is in King Lear by Shakespeare, and it is spoken by the main character King Lear. "Deep, but I will wear my heart upon my sleeves for doors to peck at. I am not what I am." This quote is from Othello by William Shakespeare, and it is spoken by the character named Iago, who was also the villain. Question number 69. We have again match the following. Again, we have the quotes and we have to match which work it was taken from. "So you can't eat the orange and throw the peels away. A man is not a piece of fruit." And this quote is from Arthur Miller's play The Death of the Salesman, and it's spoken by the character Willy Loman. B. Liberty means responsibility, and that is why most men dread it. And this quote is by George Bernard Shaw, Man and Superman. "Nobody thinks, nobody cares, no one believes, and no conviction and no enthusiasm. Just another Sunday evening." This quote is appeared in the play Look Back in Anger by John Osborne. "Our home has been nothing but a playroom. I have been your doll wife, just as at home I was Papa's doll child. And here the children have been my dolls." This quote is taken from Henrik Ibsen's play, A Doll's House, and it was spoken by the character Nora, and it illustrates her realization that she has been living a life as a plaything for others rather than as an independent person with agency. And question number 70. Again, these are the respective field with the associated author, and we have to match which one is the form. Anthropology is Claude Levi-Strauss. Postmodern geography is Edward Soja, and diaspora is Space by Avatar Bra, and Design is by Martin Heidegger. 71. Again, we have to match the following. And the Poetics of Prose, the implied reader, we know it is by Wolfgang Iser. We have in the explanation character match. The Poetics of Prose is by Stijwaiten Todorov, and Structureless Poetics by Jonathan Keller. The implied reader by Wolfgang Iser. Is there a text in this by Stanley Finnish? Again, we have to match. Here is the philosopher and their important work. And as we know, Plato wrote Symposium, and Aristotle wrote Rhetoric, and P.B. Shelley wrote Defense, and Philip Sidney wrote Apology. Quite easy, right? We have the explanation in important terms in particular work, and this you can find in our explanation, and we have explained this in our previous class as well. Now we have just come question number 23, come to the question number 73, and here again we have to match. In list 1 there is but author, and in the list 2 we have associated work. So Bertrand Russell wrote History of Western Philosophy, T.S. Eliot wrote The Sacred Wood, V.K. Wimsatt The Verbal Icon, and Clint Brook The Well-Browed Urn. Again 74, there is term and related critique who has coined these terms, and we have to find which one is whose. So negative capability is by Keats, and he introduced this term in his letter to his brother in 1870. Sweetness and Light is by Matthew Arnold, and it is a phrase he found in he coined in his culture and anarchy, sweetness and light. Again, exemplastic is a term coined by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and it is taken from literary biography. Dissociation and sensibility is by T.S. Eliot, and he has taken this. He has introduced this term in the metaphysical poets. Question number 75 we have, again these are the character and these are African most important works. These characters are mentioned in some of these works, so remember we have to match. So Munira is a character in Petals of Blood, and Nuiko is from Buchi Mcheta's The Joy of Motherhood. Ikemfuna is a character from Things Fall Apart, and Maureen is a character from Nadim Gardner's July People. These all are African work, and these works are quite important in African literature, and that's why they have asked their character. And most of the exam, most of the time in net they ask about African literature, sometimes their character and important work. And some of the important works that we have here is mentioned, like Petals of Blood, The Joy of Motherhood, Things Fall Apart, July's People. Question number 76. Now we have to arrange everything in chronological order. So all these work we have to arrange. So I'll just give you. Okay, we'll just finish. Only 24 is the remaining, right? We can finish in like 20 minutes. So this is all revision. The rest in our previous classes we have discussed the explanations and we have gone through in details. In this class we are just revising what we have studied. So choose the correct chronological sequence in which of the following texts were written. Lycidas. So we have to find which one is the first one. Of course, Wasteland could be later. Hero Leander is by Marlowe, so it can be first. And Mask of Camus. So first, Hero Leander, which is narrative poem by Marlowe, published in 1593. Mask of Camus is by John Milton, and it is a masque written in 1634. Lycidas is also by Milton, and it was published in 1637. Paradise Lost is epic poem by Milton, published in 1667. Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, published in 1920. So it was quite easy to arrange. Again, we have to by year of birth. Who came first? We know John Donne came first, so E should be in the first, so every three option has. And second could be the Robert Browning. So E and B in this two option, and again could be Rudyard Kipling. So E, B, and this two. Now we have confusion here. So A.E. Houseman is the last, so we can just take this one as a correct one. So again we have time span. First came John Donne, then Browning, who was Victorian, then Kipling, who was also Victorian. Browning was late Romantic and also Victorian. Rudyard Kipling, A.E. Houseman, and John Masefield. These were modern poet. Question number 70. Arrange the works in chronological order. We know Rajmohan's Wife came first, so every option has this because it was easy. We have Rajmohan's Wife by Bankim Chand Chattopadhyay, published in 1864. Kanthampura 38, Untouchable 35. So actually it should be before that. And A Bend in the Ganges 64, and Distant Drum is 1975. So Distant Drum should be at the end. So a little bit about the each place is written here. Question number 79. Find the chronological order of the publication of Charles Dickens. So here are the work, and we know that Pickwick paper was the first, and in one option is there, so we can just mark right, easy. And now we have all of his work. Pickwick 36, Oliver Twist 37, Nicholas Nickleby 38, 39, Old Curiosity Shop 40, 41. So all of his works are mentioned here. Arrange the works in chronological order, staging or publication. So now we have to find the answer is A Woman, The Shoemaker's Holiday 1600, The Double Dealer 1693, A Woman Killed with Kindness, it will be before that, and The Conscious Lover 1792, and at the end John Bull's Another Land 1904. 81 again chronological sequence. Answer is The Playwright Tinker by Eric Bentley 1946, Theatre of Absurd by Martin Eslin 61, The Theatre of Revolt by Robert Brustein 1964, Modern Drama in Theory and Practice is by Ellen Stein, and so all of these are in correct order. We have written small paragraph for each option. 82 again we have to these are all work by some of Foucault. 3 works are by Foucault, one is by Lacan and one is by Matthew Arnold. So Culture and Anarchy by Matthew Arnold will be in the beginning because it is Victorian, and the others are quite later work. So Culture and Anarchy, which was published in 1869, The Birth of the Clinic 63, Madness and Civilization 1964, Archaeology of Knowledge 69, and The Language of Self by Jake Lacan is 1975. '83 again, which criticism came first? So it was new criticism came. So first is psychoanalysis by Freud, right? So it was the first. We have discussed it thoroughly in our previous class. So psychoanalysis came first, then new criticism, structuralism, orientalism, and eco-criticism. We have explanation for each option that we have already discussed, and you can find this in the book that if you can order right now, you will get all 4 volumes and 2000 plus question explained along with the options similarly like that. Arrange the work in chronological sequence. Matthew Arnold, of course, Culture and Anarchy first. Thomas Brown's Anatomy of Melancholy, I think before even Culture and Anarchy. Thomas Hobbes again before that, Walter Pater. So we can just move like Thomas Brown, The Anatomy of Melancholy first, and then Thomas Hobbes, Leviathan, then Culture and Anarchy. P.B. Shelley's Defense, and then we have Culture and Anarchy, and at the end we are left with Walter Pater, Studies in History. All the works and with the date we have mentioned here. So again, chronological order, which come first? So Course in General Linguistic by Ferdinand de Saussure came first, 1916. The Implied Reader by Wolfgang Iser, 1972. The Pleasure of the Text by Roland Barthes, 1973. Structuralist Poetics by Jonathan Culler, 1975. The Pursuit of Sign by Jonathan Culler, 1981. Question number 86, we have two statements and we have to find which one is the correct. Statement 1 says the book Theatre of Revolt was written by Robert Brustein. That is correct. And the book The Theatre of Revolt written in the context of French. No, it was after the Second World War. So statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. Constantine Stanislavski collaborated with Anton Chekhov to the stage drama on stage, and the book My Life in Art was written by. So both the statements are true. We have the explanation, detailed explanation for each option that you can always find in your book. Given below are two statements. Again, human bodies, like those of other living organism, are only sexed from a particular narrow perspective, and most of the reproduction that we undertake in a lifetime has nothing to do with the sex. So here both the statements are true, and why we have explained in here. Therefore the correct answer is both. Anyway, 89, given below are two statements. One leopard is assertion A and the other is reason. We have to find which one of these, if both are true and if reason follow the assertion. So cooperative learning activities are those in which students must work together in order to complete a task or solve a problem. Reason, these techniques are used to identify weak learner and to separate him or from the members of the other group. So R, I don't think it's correct, and A is correct, of course, because we do cooperative learning in order to do work together. Question number 90, again reason and assertion. In second language learning, in the same classroom setting, some students progress rapidly through the initial stages of learning a new language, while others struggles making very slow progress. And reason, some learners never achieve native like command of second language. An explanation says both A and R correct, and R is not the correct explanation of A. So we have finished. Now we are into the reading and comprehensive. And which of the following statement is true? It asks. And the poet says that talking in bed should be easy, but it is not, because we have the explanation. In the poem, the first line suggests that talking in bed should be the easiest thing, but it is not. But as the poem progresses, it becomes clear that the speaker is struggling to find the right words to communicate with his partner. So that's why the statement says that the poet says that talking in bed should be easy, but it is not. Why? Because we can just see in the first couple of lines, talking out to be easy, but it is not. Second, the poet says that when two people are lying together, they look like what? Two pure human beings. And why? We have the explanation. Talking in bed, here is the explanation that you can read. The poet says that while lying in bed, he and his companion passes time by what? By silently. We have this in our. You can see the poem, and it says silently. Yet more and more time passes silently. And we have the explanation. Since silence becomes more prevalent. So it is a little bit, you can just read the poem and you can answer it easily. The poet and his companion were actually, through the imagery, we can find that in a place they are actually far from the town, because it says some through the imagery, like none of these cares for us, and also some of the words mentioned like sky suggest an open natural environment rather than, so it these imagery shows us that these are actually out of the town in some place. So the poet says that while lying in bed one companion, it is difficult to find words which are once honest and caring. So that is our option. Again, we have to read the following and answer the question. So Christopher Chadwell's statement: poetry is in its use of language continually distorts and denies the structure of reality to exalt the structure of the self. So we have to find the answer. And answer the capacity of the poetry to attention to its as an aesthetic object or art. If we have explanations, that if you have the book, you can just read it. Otherwise, you can just watch our previous classes. 97. What does the word assonance mean? Assonance here, repetition of identical or similar vowels. 98. What does Chadwell imply by their statement? The novel blots out external reality by substituting a more or less consistent mock reality which has sufficient stuff to stand between the reader and reality. In answer, we have the implication is that the reality of fiction has no existence independent of the words, and our emotional responses are directed by the words. What do you understand by mock reality in the context of the uses in the above passage? And the answer is the reality contrived into existence by novelist through the strategic use of words. And 100 in rhythm, preciousness and style are aligned alien to the novel. In which genre are they distinctive features? So the answer says poetry, and we have the explanation to support this question. So we have now revised all 100 questions. This was only not an important class. This was just to remind you what we have studied in the previous class. And remember, you can enroll right now, because from tomorrow we will only give like 5 to 6 questions live. The other will, only 5 to 6 questions every day. But in live classes, we'll have like 20-25 questions every day, and we'll try to finish it. So make sure you subscribe right now. There is a link in the description box for the books also. If you don't want classes, you can just buy the books, and if you don't want books, you can just enroll into this course, and it's just 500 rupees, and book cost 1499, but it has 4 volumes. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going to start shift second, and that will be in our PPT. Or if you like this kind of book, we can do it here itself. So thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. And have a good day, okay? And please enroll. And if you want to know more about it, just WhatsApp me, and I'll tell you everything about the books, and I'll also give you some demo that you can see, read, and watch. Anyway, thank you so much, and have a good day.